Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We're doing some work in the greenhouse. It's interesting. It's necessary. We have just 2 or 3 days to get it done.
So what's happening is we're going from a high of 80 today and a low of, say, 45 at night right now. By next Tuesday, we're supposed to be 17 degrees at night.
Really cold. So we're going from a freeze to a really hard freeze.
Right. And we've done this once before this winter and managed to keep everything alive in the greenhouse. But it wasn't our intention to cross our fingers a lot. We were trying to actually be a little more scientific. So we're in the process now of doing some insulation in the greenhouse. Now, obviously, we are not putting a double layer on the greenhouse or any of the fancy stuff that cost $1 billion. But we have bought some foam board and we're going to be insulating the bottom of the greenhouse. If you know how cold works, cold sinks. So if we can keep the cold out, if you will, at the bottom of the greenhouse, that'll help a lot. So join in the fun.
We're going to go ahead and get inside and get going. We have a bunch of board to cut up, and then we're going to be fitting it in the walls. We're going to try and get both walls done today. I don't know if we'll do it or not, but we're going to give it a shot.
Yeah, fortunately, we have a couple of days, but at least we'll get the first half done tonight. Now you may notice that we have a fan down at this end of the greenhouse. And that may seem a little odd, but we find that the fan makes a huge difference in terms of keeping the greenhouse warm. Now the way that works is you'll notice the fan is actually pointed up at the ceiling and it stirs up the air. The warmest air is going to be up top, and that heater will tend to put more air that's warm up there too, along with the fan pushing it up there. But it also, the fan stirs it up, and even if it gets pretty cold in here, just a degree or two difference is all it takes to keep your tender plants alive. The other day when we had really cold weather, we did have the heater running, but between the heater and the fan, we had 0 damage. So we're hoping we'll be able to do the same thing this time. But a lot of times a fan makes all the difference in the world. It can either help to keep your stuff cool or help to keep it warm, depending on how you're pushing the air around. Now, we don't turn it on high. This is run on the lowest speed, but it makes a real big difference. Putting in insulation is only part of the way that we keep the greenhouse from freezing. Last year, we had straw bales around the outside. Another thing we do is, at the end of the day, this is our fan that we normally run during the day. This gets closed. This window will automatically shut itself. The thermostat is shut so that, set so that it has to be like 85 degrees in here before it'll come on. We have a heater. The heater is on. I can feel the heat from the pilot light. And I'm going to be plugging this fan in. Actually, fans are frequently used to control the temperature. In California, places like the vineyards, and in Florida, they've been known to use fans too. But I know for sure, modernly, like not when I was a kid, they use fans in California in the vineyards to create an airflow which can keep frost from settling down in the hollows. The tops of these plants are up in the warmest part of the greenhouse. Sometimes what I do is I actually move the plants towards the center of the greenhouse more too, because it's warmer in the center than it is on the edge. Might only be a degree or two, but that's all it takes to keep something from freezing. I don't have to worry about these guys. These are kohlrabies, peas. So they're both very cold resistant. These tomatoes will be put down at the other end of the greenhouse, close to the heater, before we get that really bad cold snap. My plan all along was not really to have them up on the table, but by having them up on the table, we had more movement areas that we could work around in. Otherwise, it was going to just get so crowded in here. We may put up a wall. Sometimes we'll put up, and it's not a literal wall. It's actually just a plastic wall, but we'll just literally put it on. We'll choose a rib and cordon off this section of the greenhouse that's in the heated area, and just helps to control the heat and keep it into a smaller area. We do use insulation for other things here. This bench here is sometimes used for seedlings, and we put this insulation on there, and then we put a heat mat on there. We have the heater, and we'll just be crossing our fingers, because yeah, sometimes that's all you can do. You can't get too twitchy. We could lose the tomatoes and other really fragile things like the cucumbers. A couple of our cucumbers have died recently anyway, and we think that these are the oldest ones over here. This bucket is more than a month older than the other bucket's worth. So it's possible that they've just reached end of life. I've tried to come up with actual figures, but to be honest, nobody keeps their cucumbers that long, it seems like. Some of the greenhouses are pulling their cucumbers out at a given time during the season and then replacing them with new seedlings. So I might be able to figure out from those folks how they're timing their stuff. But other than that, your home growers don't usually try and keep the cucumbers that long. So I just don't see a reason to get rid of them if they're doing well. Now, like I say, the two have come out of this particular bed recently because they just had gotten to the point where they weren't producing anything and they just didn't look great. It happens. I mean, these guys have been running around for months and months and months and months and months. These guys here still have some good fruit on them. So we'll see how that goes. And if they stay alive, great. If not, well, we had a really good session out of them. Can't complain. Have quite a few peppers on here right now, so I'm hoping that we can keep these guys alive. There's also a spider web in here. This is kind of funny. I'm waiting to try to get some of these The antohis can also go red like this, and I'm waiting for some of them to finish getting red and get a little bit bigger, and then I'll harvest those. Henry really enjoys those. What I do is I usually roast them and freeze them for him, so in the middle of the winter he can have them. But I've got a bunch of bell peppers in here too.
Beep, beep.
He says, but I wanted my good side.
Well, we hope this was of interest to you, that you found it fun watching somebody else work today. It got kind of warm in the greenhouse, but we survived. As you saw, half of the greenhouse is fully insulated on the bottom. We'll be doing some more tomorrow to finish it off.
Right.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, because we got more stuff going on.
Lots more.
Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later. Bye.
Bye.